Thank you for joining me. This is a 4547blog.com presentation of the new Conservative POV. I'm your host, Ninj, and this week we're going to be getting into the Trump and Zelensky beef that happened at the White House. Basically the biggest story of the week, biggest story of the year, and the implications are off the freaking charts. Implications with the United States and Ukraine, United States, Europe, United States, Russia, all on the line here. Everything's really on rocky ground. It looks like European Union is finally going to step up for Ukraine. But one thing that the Democrats really aren't talking about, they're talking massive crap about the whole situation, saying that Trump and J.D. Vance jumped to Zelensky and acted like babies and this and that. But if you look at the interview, I didn't see that with my eyes at all whatsoever. Ever since the very beginning, the first lines that Trump was talking, you could see the body language of Zelensky, and he didn't seem like he went there for peace at all. What I saw, at least from my chair, from my point of view, was him whining, looking like he had an agenda, looking like he was trying to secure the bag and get out of there. But I'll let you be the judge of that. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky of Ukraine, and we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We're going to have to negotiate a deal. But we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. You're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that, I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, if I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters. And you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that, and an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
Am I crazy? Am I seeing shit that doesn't exist? Tell me he's not rolling his eyes. Tell me he's not curling his lip. Tell me he's not shaking his head. Tell me he came for peace. Tell me that's the body language of a man who came to make peace. It doesn't seem like that to me. It seems like he's sitting there thinking about what he's about to say in opposition to everything that Trump is saying, because every time Trump talks about peace, Zelensky's making a face. Zelensky's body language is taking a turn to the negative, and you can feel it if you just look at him. And this is the very first statements. These are the very first opening statements of this press conference. They just sat down together. It only gets worse as time progresses through this press conference. This next clip I'm going to show you, you'll see it. And if you don't, you're blind. Now, the reason why they're sitting down is because Trump is trying to recuperate American dollars. There's rare earth, and they keep talking about it. That's what this deal is about. Ukraine holds 5% of the world's critical raw materials. These are materials like graphite, titanium, lithium, beryllium, uranium, copper, zinc, lead, silver, nickel, cobalt, manganese, neodymium. 17 of the rare earth elements are found in Ukraine. And these elements can be used to make things like AI, computer technologies, microchips, weapons of mass destruction. So they're very important. They're very valuable. And the American people have been shelling out and dishing out money to Zelensky every time he shows up at our doorstep, with nothing coming back to us. What are we really getting out of this as Americans? I don't think we're getting much. And Trump is trying to secure the money and bring it back to us, which is important. This isn't really our war. And everything that Trump is saying, whether you're Democrat or Republican, Europe is the neighbors of Zelensky. And just because we have the firepower to do it since World War II doesn't mean we should be the police of the world. Any powerful country or any country that's worth anything in its weight should be able to support and protect itself. Throughout history, if you're a big, powerful civilization and you didn't train a military, you got demolished eventually. And that's your own fucking fault. That's your own damn fault for sitting on your hands. The world isn't a beautiful place, and if you are gullible enough to believe that everybody thinks the same thing that you believe, when shit gets ugly, you reap what you sow. And it's sad to say, it's hard to believe, it's reality. It's the truth. Now, Trump is trying to make all this peace and sitting down with a man who he actually got impeached over a phone call with. Let's not forget about the phone call, the perfect phone call, the beautiful phone call he had with Zelensky. And what do the Democrats do? They impeach him over it. Now, Zelensky at any time could have came out on the world stage, could have came out to the American people, could have came out to the American Congress and set the record straight. He has his own platform. He's a president of a country. He didn't. He also went and campaigned last October with the Democrats. But Trump is still sitting down and trying to make peace for him and his country. Now, who's the bigger man? Not only is Trump trying to end a war, but in his first 30 days in office, Trump has signed 74 executive orders. He's had 20 memoranda, 7 proclamations. He's stopped illegal immigration in its tracks. Pardons of all the January 6 rioters. He froze foreign aid. He's reinstating offshore oil drilling for our energy. He created Doge, which is wrecking the government, wrecking the liberals, and making the Democrats lose their minds. 77,000 federal workers have registered for his resignation program. And we got Pete Hegseth, who has agreed to follow through with an 8% reduction to the Pentagon budget. Tell me this is stuff that the Democrats should be crying about. Because they are. It's insane. Let's watch this next clip, and I'm going to show you. If you don't see it, you must not have eyes. But you tell me if maybe I'm tripping. But this next clip, Zelensky gets worse. His body language gets worse. And if he was sitting in front of me, I would fucking kick him out of my house also. Well, let's see what you think.
Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have...
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine, yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had, and we're treating, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably. We have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over.
Caitlin Collins in the background from CNN is literally shouting, Zelensky is shaking his head no, sir. Now, is that the body language of a person who was there for peace? Somebody who knew he was signing a minerals agreement for peace, for a ceasefire? Or is that a person who said, yeah, I'll agree to giving you the minerals. I'll agree to a ceasefire, but I want to come to America and I want to talk to you face to face in front of the American people and start a fucking big old thing on American TV in front of the American media. You think this is the first time Zelensky has been here? This is insane. And Zelensky knows what he's doing. He's not a dumbass. He's not as stupid as most of these Democrats. This is ridiculous. That is not what peace looks like. That's not what a man looking for peace looks like. That's what a man coming to secure a bag, coming to fucking jack the American people of more billions of dollars. If we don't sign this rare earth deal, we should fucking pull out of Ukraine indefinitely. Let Europe handle it. Europe wants to criticize us and say that we should and what we need to do. I encourage you to watch this whole entire interview, or the whole entire press conference. Zelensky literally tells us that we are going to feel it. We have a big ocean in between it, but we will feel it. What does that mean? Who's going to make us feel it, Zelensky? The American people don't like those kind of threats very much. As a matter of fact, there's some of us out there that welcome them. You want to come to our shores? Anyone in the world, any one of you fucking countries. I wouldn't recommend it.
Mr. President, under these
Should Russia pay to build Ukraine?
They have to pay. This is the rule. This is rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay.
Do you agree?
This is the rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300 billion, we can use them. We can use for innovation and buy military support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
President, under these circumstances, do you envision a trilateral?
Let's talk about the rules of war. Shoot, let's talk about the rules of a fight. If I'm going to dictate anything to you after we fight, do I need to be the winner or the loser? Does the person who just got knocked out stand up and say, all right, you knocked me out, now you're going to pay for all my dental bills? Nah, not unless you get caught by the police and then they sue you and you're forced to pay for them dental bills. Do you think that Russia's going to sit down in any world court and go, okay, we invaded Ukraine, we used bombs, we blew a bunch of stuff up, demolished buildings. Yeah, we'll freely go ahead and go in there and give you our money and rebuild Ukraine? Or is it more likely that they go, fuck you, Donetsk is ours, Crimea is ours, and you can fucking take the rest of Ukraine or we'll take it. What do you want to do? And what kind of cards does Zelensky have to accept anything else? Who in the world is going to step up like Donald Trump? Donald Trump has been the arbitrator of this conflict. He has stepped up and done the mediation that nobody else in the world has been able to do. Yet everybody in the world wants to sit back and put their 2 cents in, wants to be a critic of the situation. Criticize your own goddamn selves for being bitches and not doing shit until now. For having to have Donald Trump light the fire under your ass. For you to go, oh, I don't like what he's doing. I don't like what I see. Now we're going to try. After millions of people have been killed, both Ukrainians and Russians. But we're humanitarians and we care. And we want a ceasefire. But we don't want a ceasefire. We want safety and security guarantees. A guaranteed safety and security is a ceasefire. It's guaranteed nobody else is going to die. That's what should matter. How does that not matter to a leader who's been at war for 4 years?
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he killed.
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are
President,
not
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
What about what JD is saying here is disrespectful? Please explain it to me. I don't understand. The Democratic media is saying that Donald Trump and JD Vance jumped on and pounced and just attacked Zelensky. Now, throughout this entire press conference, Zelensky has been shaking his head no. Been very standoffish. Constantly saying that, Putin wants to fight. All he's talking about is filling up his war chest. He's not speaking words of diplomacy. He's saying a ceasefire will never work. No, it didn't work because it's with you. Putin doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect Europe. He doesn't respect your fucking words. Donald Trump's the first president, probably since Putin has been president, that he's respected in America. No matter what, every country in the world knows that we are nothing nice. Our military is nothing to mess with. We are a hornet's nest that you might not never, ever, ever be able to shake off of you. And I don't think anybody will. I don't think anybody can, because the will of the American people is stronger than anything on this fucking planet. We have too many guns on our soil. We're not Ukraine, but we're nice people, and we gave you money, and we gave you equipment, and we stood behind you. It's time for it to end. You fought hard. You fought valiantly. You've lost a generation of men. It's time to put the weapons away and try diplomacy. I don't know what Europe is thinking, but they're going to have a whole lot more skin in the game if they keep on acting the way they are. I don't want war. America doesn't want war. Trump doesn't want war. Well, we have no business in your war. And I hope the Ukrainians figure this shit out. Maybe it's time to hold an election. Maybe it's time for some new leadership. Who knows if Zelensky's even being transparent about what's going on behind the scenes. It's disgusting, but, there's a lot of people out there who aren't trustworthy. And we all know that.
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering all
position to
these
dictate
questions.
that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You're
gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's backed you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
what are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
What are you talking about, JD? What are you talking about? I didn't go and campaign for the opposition. He didn't think that Joe Biden was going to win. Now, the entire world thought Joe Biden was going to win. And the entire world is surprised that Donald Trump won because the entire world knows that the fucking gig is up. Hey, guess what, everyone? The gig is up. Get used to it. Y'all better band together. You want to fight Putin? Fight Putin together, but without us. Quit dragging us into fucking stupid wars. And the American people don't want to lose another forever war. We have more wartime experience than any of you, especially modern war. I'd pick your opponents a little bit better. The good thing that did come out of this is Europe is pulling together and creating a force of their own. They can protect themselves, and their protection is on them. We don't need to protect the world. We don't need to be the police. I haven't enjoyed being the police since I was young. I never understood why America is the police of the world. Why? Nobody else does it. Why do we? Let's keep a good, beautiful, strong military and do America. Let's bring our money back. Let's take care of our vets. Trump's doing so many good things at the homeland. Let's keep that going. I cannot believe Zelensky. I cannot believe these Democrats are rallying around this motherfucker. The way that he acted, he deserves to be spanked. And that's exactly what happened. He came to America and started crying in front of some real men, and those real men put some smack down on him and sent him a packing. Sorry to say, but the truth hurts. And sometimes people need to be fucking slapped around so that their eyes can open and they can realize the situation that they're really in. Trump told him the way that it is, and he wasn't hearing it. Zelensky, you have no cards. If you need to go and beg other people for your own survival, you're in a bad position. You should realize you have no cards. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for joining the show. This is New Conservative POV. I'm Ninj.